Okay, let's think about this for a second. What if your AI, the one you trust with your most sensitive data, could be turned against you with just a few clever words? Well, that's not a sci-fi plot anymore. It's the new reality we're all facing. Today, we're diving headfirst into this brand new front in cybersecurity, how to protect our large language models.
So, if you're a security professional or a developer, this is the question that should be keeping you up at night. Seriously, as AI becomes the new backbone of, well, everything, our old security playbooks just aren't going to cut it. The attack surface has fundamentally changed, and that means our defenses have to evolve, and fast.
The good news is we're not navigating this new territory blind. The Open Web Application Security Project, OWASP, the same global community that gave us the Bible for web security, they've now turned their attention to AI. They've pinpointed the 10 most critical vulnerabilities we need to get a handle on. You can think of this as the essential field guide for securing your AI apps.
All right, so what are these new threats exactly? Let's dive in and get a bird's eye view of this whole new threat landscape.
And here they are, the OWASP Top 10 for LLMs. What's really striking when you look at this list is just how broad these vulnerabilities are. We're not just talking about your classic code exploits anymore. You've got prompt injection, which is all about tricking the AI's logic. Then there's stuff like sensitive information disclosure, where the AI just blurts out secrets. We've got massive threats to the supply chain, and even data poisoning, which corrupts the AI from the inside out. It just goes on and on. This is a totally new end-to-end security challenge.
Now, we don't have time to go through all 10 in detail right now, so we're going to focus on 3 big ones. These are the priority targets that really show you the different sides of the problem: the input, the foundation, and the AI's own actions.
First up, the number one threat, prompt injection. If you know anything about web security, think of this as the SQL injection of the AI world. But here's the crazy part. Instead of injecting malicious code, you're injecting malicious words. It's a fascinating and, frankly, terrifying vulnerability. An attacker doesn't need to find a single flaw in your code. They just have to find the right magic words to convince your AI to forget its rules and do whatever they want.
And this example from OWASP just perfectly illustrates the real-world danger. A simple, sneaky chat message could turn your helpful customer service bot into a rogue insider threat, digging through databases it should never touch and sending that data out the door.
So how in the world do you defend against this? Well, it's all about a layered defense. You can't just trust the model to behave. First, you've got to lock down its behavior with really strict system prompts that define its role and its limits. Second, you have to filter everything coming in and everything going out. Third, you absolutely have to enforce the principle of least privilege. Give the model the bare minimum access it needs and nothing more. And finally, and this is a big one for any high-risk actions, you need a human in the loop. A real person has to approve any critical decisions.
Okay, now let's shift gears from the input to the very foundation of the AI, the supply chain. In traditional software, we worry about a compromised library. In the AI world, that threat is magnified 1,000 times over. Your AI is only as secure as the pre-trained models you're building on and the massive data sets they learned from. And let's be honest, that supply chain is a huge, largely untrusted black box.
And this isn't just theory. The OWASP report points to a really chilling real-world example: Poison GPT. Attackers actually uploaded this compromised model to Hugging Face, one of the most popular AI repositories on the planet. It was specifically built to bypass safety features and could be used to churn out convincing misinformation at an incredible scale.
And this just goes to show that vulnerabilities can be slipped in at any stage of the AI lifecycle. It could be in the data you scrape from the web, a compromised fine-tuning adapter you download, or a malicious model that gets deployed directly onto your users' devices.
To defend the AI supply chain, we have to go back to some classic security fundamentals, just with an AI twist. For corporate teams, this means you've got to vet your data and model suppliers like you would any critical vendor. You need to maintain an AI bill of materials, an SBOM, that tracks not just code, but the models, the data sets, everything. And you absolutely have to red team any third-party models to hunt for hidden flaws before they get anywhere near production. All right, finally, let's talk about excessive agency. You can think of this as the sorcerer's apprentice problem for the AI age. It's what happens when we give our AI powerful tools, letting it browse the web, access APIs, run code without enough guardrails. The AI, just trying to be helpful, can end up causing incredible damage. This scenario is so chilling because it's just so plausible. A simple tool, like the ability to read and send email, can be turned into a powerful weapon with a single malicious prompt.
Without the right controls, your helpful AI assistant becomes an automated insider threat, capable of stealing your most sensitive data in seconds.
The key to controlling agency is to treat the AI like a brand new, untrusted employee. You wouldn't give a new hire the keys to the entire kingdom on their first day, right? So don't give them to your AI either. Limit its tools to the absolute minimum. Enforce the principle of least privilege on those tools. And I really can't stress this enough. Never let the AI make a critical decision on its own. Always, always require explicit human approval.
So, after looking at these specific threats, what's the big strategic takeaway? How do we actually protect our systems going forward? Well, it really boils down to a new way of thinking.
Honestly, this might be the most important takeaway from the entire OWASP report. Defending AI demands a fundamental shift in our security mindset. For decades, we've been focused on protecting predictable, deterministic code. But AI is different. It's unpredictable, it's probabilistic, it's constantly learning. The old rules of application security still apply, sure, but they are nowhere near enough on their own.
So here it is. The crucial point is this. We have to adopt a zero-trust posture for AI. That means you treat every single output from an LLM with the exact same suspicion as you would any input from some random unauthenticated user on the internet. You sanitize it, you validate it, and you never, ever trust it implicitly.
So, as we start to wrap this up, let's just think for a moment about what this all means for the future of security.
The threat landscape for AI is evolving at a dizzying pace. The OWASP Top 10 is our map for today's battlefield, but you can bet tomorrow's threats are already being cooked up in the shadows. Staying ahead means thinking like an attacker, constantly red-teaming your own systems and building AI that isn't just powerful, but also resilient. So the question I'm going to leave you with is this. Are you building AI that can be trusted, or are you building the next great security vulnerability?